Thank you. I feel like I've spoken more than enough, but I do want to introduce a good friend who's going to give the final speech of the ACC Summit for this year. Who here has heard of the show Naked and Afraid? All right, most of you. That's very creepy, guys. I don't know why you're watching naked people. As you might have seen, Jeff over here has been hanging out with us the last few days. He's been involved with ACC for a while now. He is, in fact, the world record holder for most days on Naked and Afraid, which is over a year combined. Is that just about? He did some survival sessions for some of us earlier today, which is really cool. Got some really good bow hunters over here. But Jeff is someone who spent so much time in the outdoors. He's had to learn how to survive in the outdoors, and he's also a conservative. And so we thought, who better than someone who spent a year naked in the outdoors, surviving mosquito bites and like thorns this big in the South African savannah, to come talk to us about what it means to be like TR, to survive the strenuous life in the outdoors. So please welcome Jeff to the stage.
Thank you, President. Good evening, everyone. For me, it's such an honor to just be standing, in this building. TR's Presidential Library, it's the coolest thing ever. He's my favorite president, always has been. I can relate to him in a lot of different ways. So it's an honor. So thank you to Chris, Danielle, everybody at ACC for having me come and speak and tell some stories. If there's anything I have, it's stories. There's not much to me other than some wild stories. So, and hopefully I've learned a thing or two about those stories and maybe how that plays into conservation. So I'll share some of that tonight. But Roosevelt said the credit belongs to the man in the arena, which is you guys, the top 50. So it's an honor to stand in front of people who are actually out there doing the work, resurrecting the conservative environmental movement. So it's an honor to be here in front of you guys, and thank you for letting me be here. So thank you for introducing me, Chris. I'm Jeff Zausch. Oh, clicker. I'm not good at technology. There we go. So I got a haircut last week, but that is me. Most people know me as a guy who keeps taking his clothes off on national television, trying not to die. I'll admit, it's a weird thing to be famous for, okay? But most people, they think I'm a nudist. I promise I'm not. When Discovery first reached out to me about doing a survival show, they conveniently left out the naked part. True story. I found that out later, about a week before I went out. But I still remember the first Sunday after my very first season aired, I walked back into church for the first time, and all the older ladies, they couldn't even make eye contact with me anymore. So it was an interesting season of fellowship, to say the least. But my story, it started long before any cameras. There's me. When I was 10 years old, I remember the worst winter blizzard in over 30 years was headed for our home in Idaho. And by that age, I was already pretty well-versed in the outdoors, and I desperately wanted to test everything that I had learned. So I decided I was going to sleep outside on the mountain behind the house by myself, no parents, no safety line, just me and the storm. And convincing my mother was another storm entirely. To this day, I don't know what my dad said to her, but he eventually got her to go along with it. So I did it, and it snowed 38 inches that night. The snow nearly collapsed my tent, put out the campfire that I had going for warmth. And when the storm finally passed the next morning, I remember my boots were so frozen the laces broke when I tried to tie them. And 10-year-old me, I barely made it through the night. But something shifted in me that night. And for the first time, I felt the wild as a great teacher. It didn't care who I was or what I wanted. It simply was. And in that honesty, I discovered wonder. The kind of wonder that makes a little boy think the world is bigger and more alive than he ever imagined. And that was the first night that God really spoke to me through nature. And my dad, he was the guy that he put that fire in me. He was born with a severe heart defect, and at 6 weeks old, he became the youngest person in history to receive a full aorta valve transplant from a pig. It was an experimental surgery, and it worked. He went on to have more than a dozen open heart surgeries in his lifetime. His heart struggled to handle strenuous activity, but it limited what his body could do, but it didn't limit his spirit. And he took us into the mountains, hunting, fishing, camping, every chance he got, and he never used his condition as an excuse. He just kept going. When he passed away in 2013, I was lost for a while, and then I got the call for my first 21-day challenge in Madagascar. I was one of the first people to ever do the show. Everybody thought I was crazy. But every single day out there, I thought about my dad. I thought about how fortunate I was to have a healthy heart. And I thought about my dad's example of no excuses. And I carried him with me that full 21 days. And for me, God used that challenge to teach me perseverance, the kind that keeps going when the heart is broken and the body is tired. And years later, I got the opportunity, or the curse, to attempt the first ever 60-day challenge on Naked and Afraid in the Philippines. And on day 52, I came down with a 105-degree fever. It was the sickest I had ever been. I tried to stand. I lost consciousness. And when I came to, I pulled my face out of the dirt. I was fighting off the medical team. They were trying to evacuate me. I had 8 days left to make history, and I wasn't going to quit. So I convinced them to give me till morning to get my fever down. So I crawled myself to the edge of this riverbank here, threw myself in the river up to my mouth, and I laid there all night, shivering. I remember my jaw was shattering and just shaking so violently I was biting pieces of my own tongue off. And I thought it might kill me. But it didn't. By the time the sun came up, my fever had dropped, and Laura and I became the first two people to ever survive 60 days naked with no tools. But when I got back home, they diagnosed me with bacterial meningitis. And I spent several weeks in the ICU fighting for my life. And that experience taught me humility in the deepest way. You can be the most prepared survivalist on the planet and still be reminded in an instant that you're not in control. Nature is, and the God who created it. And to this day, I have a healthy fear and a holy respect that I carry with me every single day, thanks to the Philippines. 3 years ago, to this day, I was in South Africa on a 45-day survival adventure, and I was in the middle of a historic drought in an impossible location. On day 32, I was starving. My body had burned through every reserve it had. I was desperate for protein, and I was hunting with a primitive longbow, one of the last remaining water holes, the same bow that you guys shot this morning, some of you. And while sitting in the blind, I spotted that impala. He was walking up to the water. I pulled back, I shot him, perfect hit, right behind the front shoulder. I was celebrating, and this was the biggest success of my survival life, knowing that I now had enough meat to last me till the end of the challenge. And I followed the blood trail, and my heart sank. The drops got smaller and smaller until the trail faded away completely. I was crushed. I lost the animal. And my biggest success turned into my biggest failure within minutes of each other, and put my entire challenge at risk. And I spent the next few days in a pretty dark place, wondering why God would do that to me. Like, I was genuinely starving. Like, I know it's a TV show, but like, I was almost dying. And 6 days later, I pulled myself out of the dirt, and I went back to the exact same water hole. Crouched low in the blind behind some thorns, I saw hooves once again approaching the water hole. Oh, I was hoping it had sound. Can we put sound on? See the impala. Oh, it's on. I'm gonna be a little patient here. Big male. It's the same bow that Chris won the challenge with earlier today.
I got him. Yes! I got him. First shot of the day, baby. First shot of the day. Yes! Here's his tracks. He ran on this game trail right up through here. I saw the arrows sticking out of him. There he is. There he is. Oh! Yes! Oh! Yes! This is the greatest success I could have ever hoped for. I am so happy. This is everything I've dreamed about for 10 years doing Naked and Afraid challenges. I'm gonna be feasting on backstraps, tenderloins, and rump roast, baby. I'm gonna be at full
I was
strength
hungry.
going into whatever challenge lies ahead. Yes! If this were to be my final, last one standing, if this were to be my final Naked and Afraid, the last time I wear this satchel, then this moment will live forever in my memory. This is one of the happiest days of my life. This is what I live for, baby. Right now. 284 days in my Naked and Afraid career. And this is arguably my greatest success. This is the moment I rededicate myself for the next week of this challenge, and I go and win this thing.
So the most unbelievable part of the entire story, most people think I'm lying, but it was the exact same Impala that I shot 6 days earlier. And when I pulled back on the arrow the second time, I saw my 6-day-old arrow sticking out of its side. Like, I was in shock. And what had happened is the first arrow hit a rib, went into the rib, and it prevented the arrow from going in, leaving the animal pretty much unharmed. But God kept him alive for 6 days and brought him back to me when he thought I was ready. And the story still gets me because it taught me patience, taught me humility, again, and above all, it taught me gratitude and provision, that God is the provider. Often in the 11th hour and almost never on our timeline, when the lesson is learned, the provision comes. And I dreamed of standing in front of Mount Everest my entire life. Like, I had a boyhood obsession. And a few years ago, I finally did it. That mountain unlocked something even deeper in me, a hunger to explore the earth that God created, and a conviction that most of us dream far too small. And let me show you a little video from that trip.
Right now, I'm on the summit of Kalapatar, elevation 18,550 feet, and this is Mount Everest. This is the peak of planet Earth right here. And I want this video to remind everyone that anything is possible, everything is achievable, and you are capable of more than you even understand. The wind chill right now is lower than 20 below zero. I can't feel my fingers or my toes. But I know one thing, and this is the glorious, most beautiful view I have ever seen in my entire life. And it is worth every bit of pain that it took to get here. And that is true for your journeys too. Be strong, everyone. Be strong. And I want you to ask yourself, What is your Everest? What is your Everest? And whatever it is, I want you to chase it. And I want you to think about it daily. Dream about it. And one day you will see it. And your dreams will come true. Happy 2023, everyone.
The oxygen was thin, all right? My brain wasn't functioning on all cells, but I imagine TR probably had a couple speeches like that in his day, getting excited about little things. But what the wild keeps teaching me is simple. We are capable of so much more than we believe. Hunger, cold, fear, exhaustion, they strip away everything fake. What's left is the truth of who you are and what you're willing to become. Like Chris mentioned, I've now survived more days naked in the wild than anybody, with the exception of some people in some tribes, I'm sure, that would make me look not so special. Across 6 different continents, from the Arctic to the Amazon. Get me a couple drinks tonight, I'll tell you about the Amazon. From Greenland to Botswana, I've been as low as a human being can get, and I've still managed to keep going somehow. But none of the records matter as much as this one truth. Nature isn't special because it looks good in photographs or makes a nice week-long vacation. Nature is special because of what it does to us. It is one of God's greatest creations, second only to us. It's the place where I've learned the most about who God is. It's where I learned how to dream bigger than I thought possible. It's where I learned the power of the mind and the power of self-belief. It's taught me humility. It's taught me gratitude. And it's molded me into the person I am today. That's the real why of conservation. At least it is for me. We don't protect these wild places because they're beautiful or because they provide resources. We protect them because they're the classroom of the soul. They are where human beings still go to discover what they are made of and who made them. Roosevelt understood this. He didn't just set aside land, he believed that the wild formed character. You're the next generation in that fight. So when you leave this library this weekend, I ask that you carry a deeper why. Yes, protect these lands with policy and innovation, like we saw on stage earlier, but protect them because of what they do to the human spirit. Get people into the wild. Let the wild do its work on them like it did its work on Roosevelt and myself. The arena is still open. Let's ride. Thank you, everyone.
What a speech. Now, I have to say, I heard some of y'all were on this point-to-point hike today. Anyone remember that hike? I heard a lot of people say it was hard, there was a ladder, and I feel like after hearing Jeff's speech, you might want to rethink that. We're getting ready to start awards here in a minute, but first, I'm excited to share we have a summit recap video, so turn your attention to the screen.
Understood a simple truth. America's glorious heritage was not ours to squander, but ours to preserve for future generations. Under his leadership, hundreds of millions of acres of forests, mountains, and rugged wilderness were preserved for generations to come. His vision helped awaken a distinctly American conservation ethic, rooted in stewardship, responsibility, and the belief that progress should never come at the expense of our inheritance. Our charge is to carry this rich legacy forward.
Conservation is important to me because I think that the long-term prosperity of our nation depends on not just having resources readily available for use today, but also in the future.
Conservation matters because we are out here protecting the natural wildlife and beauty of America that makes it exactly what we're fighting for.
I'm a conservative, and conservative, I mean, you can't really have one without the other.
I think that conservation is important to draw the boundaries for resource use and enjoyment of the great resource that is American land.
Checking our economy and environment is vital for the interests of our state, given that they go hand in hand.
The act of preserving nature and being out in nature allows us to see how small we are, and that humbles us and that motivates us to live virtuously.
The light bulb moment was just how ACC embraced market environmentalism.
And that light bulb moment for me is when I realized that conservation is really being monopolized by one political party, and obviously America does not belong to one party, it belongs to all of us.
I realized that good policy requires civil discourse and a diversity of ideas.
To me, ACC means conservation and conserving our lands for a bright tomorrow.
The unity of the conservation movement for both sides.
They're doing big stuff legislatively, passing bills in the state of Florida.
They don't just see the vision, they share it, and they encourage other young people like me to go out there and conserve and protect America.
And I just wanted to see more conservatives be aware of these issues and engage in conversations that can challenge existing ideas and come up with good solutions.
The next chapter of American conservation will be written by those with the courage to take environmental action into their hands and champion the big ideas necessary to ensure our natural inheritance is preserved while we build a more abundant future.
Our movement is building a future that is bigger, stronger, and smarter, powered by more energy and innovative technologies of the future.
So let's fight to conserve America's glorious heritage for those who come after us. The responsibility is ours. We've entered the arena.
All right, well, that's a perfect segue into our awards portion of the night. As we call your name and you're nominated, please stand. And winners, come to this set of stairs right here, and we'll meet in the middle right here. Okay. If it is a branch award, the full leadership team can come on stage. First award. This award is ACC's top honor given to the best member in the country, named for the man whose library we sit in tonight. The nominees are Morgan Bailey, South Carolina, Yuna Choi, California, Ale Barriga, Florida, Kelly Hoskins, Utah. And last, Nicholas Walker, Texas. And the winner is Morgan Bailey, South Carolina. This next award is ACC's most active member, constantly putting in the work to spread ACC's message and impact. This is our Busiest Bee Award. The nominees are Evan Patrahay, DMV, Nicholas Parise, Florida, Connor Ortman, Indiana, Luke Truitt, Utah, Levante Holt, Texas, and Camden Davis, South Carolina. ACC's 2026 Busiest Bee is Florida's Nick Parise.
Our next award goes to the member who goes above and beyond expectations at every turn. They are truly the man or woman in the arena. This is our Trailblazer Award, and the nominees are Austin Ikonomu from Florida, Riley Beasley of Utah, Reed Olson of Texas, Jansen Tyndall of North Carolina, and Zach Wilson of Utah. The winner of ACC's 2026 Trailblazer Award goes to Riley Beasley.
The college branch event that best brought ACC's mission to life this year is the Best College Branch Event of the Year. The nominees are Ohio State University's Earth Day Festival, April 24th, 2026. ACC Florida International University's Everglades, June 28, 2026. ACC Sam Houston State University's Hot Springs National Park Adventure, April 3rd to the 5th, 2026. ACC Campbell's Kayak Trip, October 26, 2025. And ACC University of Utah's Nuclear Energy Event with the Abundance Institute, January 29th, 2026. And the winner is ACC Florida International University's Everglades Expedition.
All right, we talked about our wonderful college branches, and so now we're going to talk about our young professional branch of the year. The nominees are ACC Indiana's Day at the Track in May of 2026, ACC Treasure Coast's St. Lucie Nuclear Plant Tour in June, the Austin Hubs Balcones Canyonlands National Wildlife Refuge Hike this past June, the Raleigh Hubs Christmas Party last December, and last but not least, the DMV Hub's Geothermal Gold Panel in June. It seems that June is really when inspiration strikes for our young professionals. The winner is the Austin Hubs Balcones Canyonlands National Wildlife Refuge Hike. They probably won this.
Who here is in college? Give it up for college. The award, the college branch that carried ACC's message furthest on its campus this year. The nominees are University of Arkansas, ACC Chapel Hill, ACC Sam Houston State University, ACC we already did that, Florida International University, ACC Winthrop, and ACC Utah State University. The 2026 College Branch of the Year is ACC Sam Houston State University.
Not again. All right, the next award goes to the Young Professional Branch leading the way beyond campus. The nominees are ACC Columbus, ACC DMV, ACC Denver, ACC Space Coast, and finally ACC Austin. Can I have some drum roll, please? And the winner for the 2026 Young Professional Branch of the Year is ACC Space Coast.
ACC's top brand ambassador, the voice carrying ACC to the widest audience, as well as making an impactful leadership for the entire cohort. So the nominees are Eric Suarez of Florida, Levante Holt of Texas, Emily Baker of Colorado, Luke Truitt of Utah, Kevin Shue of Texas, and Brendan Fowler of Ohio. Out of all of these amazing nominees, ACC's 2026 top brand ambassador is Emily Baker.
Congratulations to all the award winners. Thank you to all of you ACC members, our staff, Team Tri for event support, and to the Presidential Library for hosting us this weekend.
I'm going to keep it short and sweet because I believe we're the only thing standing between you guys and enjoying the rest of your evening and celebrating together. But I want to take a minute to thank each of you for sharing in ACC's vision, building with us every single day, and throwing your hats into the ring, joining us in the arena. We truly could not do any of what we do without each of you and the communities you're building and the friendships that you're making at events like this. You guys are our top 50. We believe in you so much. We're here at the Teddy Roosevelt Presidential Library, and my hope for all of you is that in 50 years, 100 years, somebody in this room has their own library or their own monumental event space or something that we can come back and say that ACC was the genesis and the turning point for this movement that we are building. So thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts for being here.
I'll just end with where I started the weekend with saying that this is not a library or a museum that you come to learn facts or knowledge about history. This is a place where you come to find yourself, where you come to find your purpose, your Mount Everest, like Jeff said, and it is where you find your place in the future of this country that we all love so dearly. So go home to your communities, be proud of the movement that you are building. You're not just a part of it, you are building it with us. And we are so excited to see what you do next. So one more round of applause for yourself. We have one more surprise for you guys. Is there a certain Mr. Mo Monuments in the crowd? There he is. You guys are all online enough to probably have seen some of his really cool statues he makes on Twitter, in particular a George Washington one, but he has made our very own Teddy Roosevelt busts for each and every one of you, commemorated specifically for the 2026 ACC Summit at the Teddy Roosevelt Presidential Library. There is one waiting for each of you in the foyer on your way out as a memento for you to take home. So let's thank Mo for the incredible work he did with all that. And our hope is that those same busts will one day be sold in the library here, as well as in the national park, and many more will be built across the country. Last pieces, the rest of your evening is free, like Danielle mentioned, and then Sunday departure details will be sent to you via Aiden text, so make sure to keep your phones on you. Aiden. God bless you, God bless ACC. Have a great night.